So, Travis, we were talking earlier, and you did mention about, wanting to learn how to develop and increase your capacity and ability to receive love and appreciation and knowledge of God's love in your life, and how much more balance that will make you feel in terms of your worthiness, your self-worth, and just your feeling of happiness being here with us on earth. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, what does God's love mean to you? How do you feel like you have been not receiving it? Why does, what does worthiness mean to you? Like, let's talk a little bit about that and explore a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, really good question, Jared. Yeah, that's such an intricate topic because I personally find that all of our neuroses and self-sabotage is centered around our inability to allow ourselves to receive and hold love. So when we look at all of society and um, the ways we operate, the things, the addictions we have, the various forms of entertainment and media and stuff we're hooked on. I really do almost understand deeply that it really is tied to the our we're hoping deeply that these things can make us feel good and give us this kind of endorphins and the the satisfaction just from having it, right? That's why we all get so desperate. We did previous podcasts on goals, right, where we discuss our life goals and how much sabotage that created by, for example, being too ambitious, right? So even that, like being overly ambitious for materialistic stuff, even if it's the society really glorifies getting the bigger job and the bigger salary. Right now, in today's world, it's all about making seven figures on in 5 days on TikTok or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's so crazy, but it's so glorified and exciting, and all of it. It really creates this huge vortex, which sucks everybody on media, and on billions of us into the incessant need to have this vision of success, right? And we're only good enough now. That what that creates is we become only good enough. I even see people with like hundreds of thousands of followers still carrying on with this, not able to like accept and be good enough until they have
Yes,
this.
can I tell you what?
That feeling, we're going to manifest, Travis's ability to receive more love and to hold space for that love, to increase his capacity to love, to improve his feeling of self-worth, um, and we also want to manifest the feeling of acceptance, and that we can find community wherever we are, be surrounded by like-minded individuals who will raise our vibrations and make us feel accepted. So we want to
Yeah,
talk a
I
little bit
like
about
that.
what, yeah. So
Mhm.
that, that's what we're going to manifest, and talk about today. So we were just talking. I was asking Travis about, to tell me a little bit about his, what does creators love, um what is that capacity, increasing that capacity mean for him, where it is right now, how, what does love and receiving love mean to him, and how can we improve his feeling of worthiness. So that's what he was talking about before you joined.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I went on a full tangent there. So I got enjoyed in time, and I started back recording, right, so our audience could know what we speaking about. So yeah, I just started sharing about like how basically all of our neuroses and self-sabotage stems from our inability to allow ourselves to receive and hold this love. So that's how we end up getting hung up on various forms of entertainment and trying to make $1 million in 5 days on TikTok and stuff like that. So it's just so crazy how much I find unworthiness. Are we doing unworthiness again? but but like how much like um how much like desperation and stuff like that comes from the really our inability to just receive, allow ourselves to be loved. What was the question again, Jared? That was
Travis, you don't you don't catch me off guard at this. Right. The question was, what does the feeling of creators love mean for you in your life? Why do you think it stemmed your ability became so low? How do you feel like it has been serving you so far? How is it that the feeling of unworthiness could be increased, and what is the feeling of being able to increase that capacity for love? What does that mean for you?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I wish I had so many yeah, so basically on a soul level, right? My soul wanted to learn in this life, what it feels like to be deeply unworthy, rejected, in general, right? From society and stuff like that. So that I could learn to really actually feel what it feels like to be good enough, fully worthy, to put my crown back on and really navigate life as a sovereign being. So that's the journey of the yeah of the worthiness, and that what that feels for me like that activity involves me embodying more of divine presence into my body. So what I want to work on, what I'm working on these days is actually expanded my capacity to actually hold more of God's presence into my body, and allow this presence to actually fill me up literally and create the feeling, when people say, don't worry, God has your back. That is what actually happens when the more we allow God's presence into our bodies, right? And literally the back of our chakras and stuff like that. So I'm working on that these days, and that presence allows me my actual capacity to hold and share this love, to expand and multiply, so that I can share more and give more. So that what it feels like. And yeah.
It's so funny that you went into that the whole thing about the grind of receiving love, that you would talk. The first thing you mentioned was about how you would go on TikTok and all of that, and people's wanting and craving for gratification through followers and subscribers and not view counts and all of that. How that could make people feel so unworthy and so unloved, because, like, for example, if you have a friend who every post, no matter what they post, gets 500 likes, and you, no matter how hard you try and what you try, you could only get, oh well, a significant lower number than that. Like, how that makes us feel. And it's so strange that that is the society we've developed and we lived in. That feeling of, not being good enough, because you might be feeling that way, but then the person who's receiving 500 likes, they are comparing themselves and feeling unworthy because there's somebody that they know who gets 1,000 likes. And then that 1,000 likes, the cycle continues. And it's such a it's such an easy way for people to feel badly about themselves in a world where that person who gets 50,000 likes in every post, how much of those things that they post are real versus clout chasing, So we are all chasing this imaginary dream which may not even exist. And it is so easy to get lost in a feeling of, I am not worthy, or I am not good enough. I'm not able to accept what I have, because you are chasing something that may not even exist. You're trying to live in your reality, but comparing it to something that may not even be someone else's reality. So, why do we anchor our feeling of worthiness on something that we cannot understand or know or be a part of, because it may not be real?
But is it okay if I just share this last part? That is why I want to work on this, because I was that guy. I was fully getting hung up on the addiction of needing the followers and stuff, because I needing the audience base to grow, especially when your business becomes online. I was fully getting hung up on that, this need and the desperation to get that. And that's why I want to work on this, because even as manifestors, we kind of expect stuff to come really fast, and because we go by the principles, what's meant for you is for you, and it's going to happen anyway. But that's, in reality, right, that hasn't happened. I'm months months deep, balls deep, everything, and it hasn't happened. And this is the deeper lesson behind it, right? And that's why I'm here working on this, to be honest, to kind of let go of that and to just allow myself to be loved, no matter what. So thanks so much for, helping me to bring that up.
Yeah, and I believe that, like the reason why we do feel like that, we do have that need is because we were almost told about that need. Like, I don't know what it is, but it felt like, society shamed us if we weren't popular from since we were born. We were told that in the media we consumed, in like, I feel so bad for the current generation of teenagers because whereas we're not heavily invested in social media and we are still badly off because of the media we consume, like in TV shows and all that, where the popular people made fun of everybody else. Like they even got the worst blunt of the blow because social media right now is just a popularity contest, and it's so intrinsic and it's so interesting to study when this generation of teenagers become adults, what are the choices they are going to make because they were fully invested in this social media era, in this instant gratification era, and we as a society are going to face the pushback for that. But okay, I'm sorry that I'm making everything so general, so let's get more specific again. So Travis, do you think that you want to push past the feeling of trying to compare yourself? Because I mean, as I said, this is what you want to do. This is what you want to work on in the future. This is what I think um is your plan and what you were put made here to do, to go out and help people evangelize and all in whatever way that that is. Um and you want to shed yourself of the need for numbers that we think society is currently facing. But I mean, this feeling, if you ask me, I think this feeling goes beyond just in the last couple of years with the social media craze. I think it came from before that, and I think, as you correctly said, it came from very young on in your life when you kind of like burdened yourself with the need to wanting to learn how to put and accept your power and accept your plan and everything. So what I'm going to ask is a bit different, but how do you plan? Because as you said, we in the manifestation field, we want everything to come instantly, but the unfortunate factor is that sometimes it doesn't because it's not meant to come instantly. Um, but what is your plan? Like, how do you plan to work on it if it does not come instantly? How do you plan to work on it and make yourself feel worthy even in the moments that you cannot or you don't?
That's such a good question, Jared. Thanks. Because that's exactly what I'm working on. So how I work on it is and it's such a interesting thing because it's simply by allowing my plan is to simply every day practice the consistent grounding of that energy of the higher self of the soul into the body, right? But the funny and that in itself allows us to know that we are deeply loved, right? Deeply unconditionally loved. But the funny thing is, as soon as we do that, we so much light begins to enter. We just instantly desire to share this love and give this love to others, right? That happens effortlessly. It's the part when we don't get back in return is a kind of the hurtful part. And how I intend to navigate that is to somehow find a way to accept that this part of me who isn't able to like operate with very little money, just yet to find a way to make more money while I'm learning to love and accept that part of me, and I also want to learn to give up the programs of struggle and sacrifice. We have these programs where we feel like we need to struggle to turn convert ourselves into like diamonds through the fire, right? And we also have these programs where the more we struggle, the more we feel closer to God because The more we struggle, the more heart-centered we become, and we think, okay, God will love me the more loving I become. But that's not true. God loves us regardless. So the plan is to release these programs of self-sabotage and allow myself to receive more and accept myself more and love myself more through and love my inner child more, because it's the inner child who really rebels really hard. When we try to push him too hard to achieve, that's what's been happening with me. He really rebels, and he refuses to do any more work on himself or to move forward anymore, because he just wants to be and be loved, and he just wants to be loved. Like, for freak's sake, he just wants love and to be accepted, and he doesn't want anything. Actually, he just wants love. So that's the goal, to kind of navigate these different areas. So yeah, hopefully that works out. But I already know it will work out, because that's what the soul lesson, but that's the general goal.
You know, it's funny you say that, and I definitely want to open the floor for Enya, but I just want to say
Yeah.
one more thing before Enya chips in. Is that I feel that the feeling of struggle is something that is imbued in all of us. I could only talk about the Caribbean background because that's the only one I really know for fact. But you know, like coming from a Christian Caribbean background, we learned that everything is only achieved through struggle. Everything on God's love only comes by making yourself proactively a good person and by working hard, doing good things. And if you don't do this and do that, and you know, if you don't do the most to become a good person, then you aren't going to achieve good in your life. You aren't going to have good things. And I think that is where our need for struggling and unhappiness in certain regards come from. Like, things don't have to be difficult. You can live a good life and be a good person just by being yourself and loving everyone, which is the most natural thing to do. I don't know why we impose this need for struggle upon everybody. But yeah, I think we'd be much happier if we didn't struggle every step of the way. But then, what I want you to chip in here. What are your thoughts?
I think that in a lot of the times, a good question we should ask ourselves, especially in the mindsets that you guys just described, we should ask ourselves, like, what time am I on? And no, I'm not talking about the time on the clock or the time in the physical reality here. I'm talking about past, present, future, where, I think anxiety is the future, depression is the past, and then it have different spectrums and layers of that. But the present moment, when you really tap into that, and I really want to emphasize on how important it is for us to get the power of the power of now. There's a lot of books, and I think Abraham Hicks talks about the delicious moment, but these people know what they're talking about. Like, a lot of the times when we are anxious or when we have, like, you know, hold on one second. Give me 1 minute.
Yeah, I want to hear more from you guys, and I just want to say I thank you so much for holding this space for me. You literally held space to allow me to share everything I wish to manifest and what I'm working on. I want to do the same for you all, so please go ahead and share.
Yeah, but you know, like Travis, I was very moved by your statement because I feel like, you know, with the unhealthy combination of the need to struggle and also the need to be accepted because of the society we live in and we've created for ourselves. I feel like that's such an unhealthy way an unsustainable way to live life nowadays, and we have just been thrown headfirst into it.
Hey guys, I'm back. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay.
So, as I was about to tell you guys, like, the present moment allows us to think that, I'm sorry, not being in the present moment allows us to think that I don't have enough likes. You step outside of who you are, what you want to achieve. I don't have love. So instead, in the present moment, you put yourself in the shoes or in the being or in the embodiment of energy of lack. when you step out of the present moment. That's what I want to try to explain. So when you truly relax in the moment and feel love, you feel love right now. You could feel love right now. You just have to think about it. And that's the present moment and dive into that and experience it and hold on to that. Too many times, because of conditioning from society, because of dogmas, there's a lot of dogmas out there. That's what Jared was talking about earlier. You know, the dogma of I'm not good enough, the dogma of you need to prove yourself to me, a lot of things, it's a lot of dogmas of lack. That's the best way to describe it, right? And a dogma is like a set belief system. So a lot of the times we condition as a society, as a whole, as a collective consciousness, we condition to operate on lack. And the only way we operate on lack and the only way we fall victim to that is when we step outside of the present moment. Because when you truly understand and be within the present, you don't feel lack of anything. You just feel now. Now. And I'm talking about releasing all the feelings. And what gets you into the now is just looking at your hands and rubbing them together and focusing on that and getting out of things, but focusing in but getting out of that lack and into the now, into the present, into the what is, right? And there's the magic, right? There's where the magic is. And that's what I want to say.
Okay. So, in the spirit of getting out of the feelings of the past holding us back, the fear of the future and the fear of the unknown, that the things that we can't control, and the just getting into now, what is now? What do I need now? How can I be happy now? How can I feel love now?
But that's still asking those questions. You're still coming from a place of I don't have it. Why
Mhm.
that is not being in the present. That's being in a place of either in the past, because you know what, the mind only knows to recreate what it previously experienced. So
Mhm.
if in the past you already got rejected, or in the
Mhm.
past you already experienced lack of approval from society, or 10 likes versus 500 likes, naturally the brain will try to work towards, you know, it's a fight because you want something else, you want the 500 likes, not 10. So
Mhm.
naturally your brain is looking for ways to show you no, it's 10. So your brain already trying to manifest that experience again for you because you're so addicted to that, even though it's a negative thing. Remember, the universe doesn't necessarily understand no. The universe doesn't understand yes. It doesn't understand bad. It doesn't understand good. It is just understand what you focusing on in the mental. It understands only the language of the present moment, the now. So a lot of the time, you know, we on a different plane. We definitely off because we just operating off of what we conditioned to be operating on. And that's why my intentions was to manifest being in the present moment more. And that is a surrender to the universe, being in the present moment. Because when you're in the present moment, what that means is that you fully understand what it is to have everything that you want now. And you don't get there right away. It's a process. So you understand, look, right now, I might want to have 500 likes, but I don't. I might want to experience trust in God or love for God, but I don't. But you have to surrender to that, and also you have to also pay attention to putting yourself in the present. And how I do that, a lot of my exercises that I do, I look at the wall, I breathe, I pay attention to my breath. I look at my fingers and I literally like do it right now. Look at your hand and put all your focus on that and rub your fingers together. Like think about that. It may seem silly and or you know, but it's not. It's just that's how you pull yourself out of I have to get this, I have to get that, or well, how do I get this? How do I it's not about that. It's more about I have it now. So while rubbing your fingers together, think about what it feels like to have it now and to act like it's already happened. Meaning that accept it as if it's already happened. Because I don't like the word act. That's the wrong word to use. Um, you just have to accept it, and the energy kind of sinks, and then you try as much to stay there. That's the challenge. The challenge is we can't stay there. We can't stay there. We have to get distracted. We have to go off on something else. We have to, and that's again conditioning of how we as a society is so addicted to this lack dogma. And that's just where I come from, you know?
So I definitely could appreciate that, and I definitely understand where you're coming from. I think, as you said, and I mean, you might refer to it as distraction, but I refer to it as just, being a part of, the existence of the universe. That it's easy for me to stay in the now and the mindfulness of myself when I'm on my own. But to me, it becomes challenging when I need to then be a part of something else with someone else, because that person, I can't control, and I shouldn't have to control anything that they may be feeling or going through or doing. And it's hard for me to stay in my now whilst having a conversation with them, or doing an action with them, or being just a part of them, that they kind of pull you away from the now and pull you into this other form of reality, because they would either be drawing from if they aren't in their own now, they would either be drawing from their past or the fears of their future, or even something that is we're currently facing in the present, like, and they may be operating from lack. How do we then correspond and deal with other people in that situation who aren't coming from the now and stay in the now?
So a lot of the times empaths like yourself will go through that because naturally they would want to feel connected and tap into the conversation with empathy, and that's what they use to understand people and listen and go about. However, I'm not saying to not do that. That's definitely not where I'm coming from. You can still listen to a conversation with empathy, but you have to listen to it from your now. And how you do that, the answer to that question would be you have to know you. If you are not fully aware of where you stand and what your now is and where you're gonna go from your now, you get swept up in other people's nows. Or you get swept up in other people's how and ifs and whys and ands and buts. And necessarily it is very important that you is like a tree in a flood. And she don't know why all men just do this because it's the third time. And then John come and say, "Boy, I can't afford my credit card bills." And then so that painting a picture of poverty, a picture of infidelity and lack of love, and all these things around you like water just pushing against you, trying to uproot you. Is if it if you're not grounded in knowing in a deep knowing of what truly exists in the now, right? For you at least, your reality, what you trying to manifest, what you trying to do, yeah, Sally and John, those floods will push you away, and then eventually, all you know, you're floating in the flood, going like debris, and your debris picking up. You're in the mess of it all. You're in the mess of the flood of all the debris floating along the water, agreeing with all of these beliefs and all of these painful things that everybody experiencing, and not because you have to remember not everybody is on the same level of consciousness. Your jobs as light workers, our jobs as light workers out here, people who listening to this podcast and listening to us talk, they are called to be on a certain level of consciousness. That's why they reach in the streamline of energy. That's why they reach to this level of information. That's why they reach to this level of conversation, right?
I think I could appreciate that, and I think that that's how I mean, I do see the value and the comfort in it, and that's how I think that is an easy way to feel at home wherever you are, because once you're mindful of the universe, you don't you it transcends just place. It transcends a feeling of I don't belong here, because you're thinking not just about where you are in your current location, you're thinking about yourself as part of life, as part of the universe, as a spark of creation. And I think that that is something that could help you feel at home anywhere you are, because you definitely deserve your place in the universe. So, like, looking
Mhm.
at it beyond just the feeling of where you are in space, but feeling at home here on on third plane, sorry, on Earth. I think definitely that could make you feel at home anywhere. Just that feeling of the miracle of life, what it is, how special you are, how you have that feeling of being part of Creator's good light.
Yeah. I just think that you need to know in the back of your mind, just understand that what someone else's reality is doesn't have to be yours. Just because you're in this world and there's a collective of experiences that's happening, it may have similar themes, it may have familiar spirits, it will have all kind of different things, right? It just doesn't mean that you have to go with the flow or go with that thread. It doesn't mean that going with that thread means you belong, because belonging to me, and this comes from, I don't know if it's because this is how I feel I belong, but I feel I belong when I'm with not just physical family, but when I'm in an environment where I'm accepted. And that's where I feel I belong. I wouldn't feel I belong because I believe the same things my family does, or I believe the same things um my friends say or my coworkers. Like, that doesn't make me feel I belong. I'm not intimidated to have a different point of view on things or a different opinion on things. I just want to feel accepted for them. And if I don't feel accepted for them, it's strange. I don't know how to explain this, but I still feel like this is what I truly believe, and that's what I belong with that, if that makes sense. And it is a bit lonely at times, that way of thinking, because I'm still trying to seek out, a place in the world where, or this physical reality, as you said, where, everyone kind of thinks similarly to me. While I understand that that might not be always right, or it might not be the truth that I manifest, but at the same time, I still, in the moment, things happen. It doesn't have to be one way. Like, my way of thinking doesn't have to be it. But I do feel like I'm so open minded that, at the end of the day, I allow people to be who they are and have their opinions, but I still stay true to what I believe, because that's what works for me, what makes me feel calm, and what helps me regulate through difficult emotions and stuff like that. So maybe developing a strong sense of self and understanding, a strong set of beliefs, maybe that helps you stay grounded in your now, um, and not be intimidated or feel like you have to change that in order to fit in, or not be intimidated or feel like you have to change that in order to feel what you want to feel. You know, that's where my mind is at with those things. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does, because I feel like, when you said of that, especially that part about staying true to your beliefs. And I'll tell you why I think that that is a struggle for some people. Because I think most people, they aren't very aware of themselves. And I'll even include myself in that list at times. I always thought that, in going through my struggle when I was younger, that I developed a strong sense of belief of who I am, what are my values, what do I hold there. But I feel like, it's a constant, it's constant work to kind of like solidify, okay, to check in and be like, okay, what is my current belief system? What I want to hold steadfast to? What am I willing to lose the acceptance of some people because I am not willing to release this belief system? Or, what am I willing to hold steadfast to? And it is something that is scary for people who crave acceptance, because almost it feels like when you crave acceptance, you are willing to believe whatever the general population of the room believes. Whatever the mood is, you kind of go along with it at times. And I do believe that at times I'm like that I want so badly to fit in that I will just believe whatever the whatever is the popular vote. And I do think that that's wrong, yes, because I do feel like I'm losing a sense of self whenever I do that. But at the same time, like, I guess it's exactly because, like what we were saying earlier, I need to tune into the now. What are my feelings now? Not necessarily what do I need to do to get acceptance to better myself in the future, but what am I feeling? What am I feeling now? What am I tuning into now? And I think that, like, trying to pay more attention to that will really help me ground myself in my beliefs if I continuously check in on myself and think, okay, Jara, what are you feeling now when this person said this? What struck a chord in you? What do you believe based off this situation? I think that's an easy way to do a check in on yourself and test your beliefs. Because if somebody says something, if you don't align with it, you will be fully able to say, well, I don't necessarily believe that. But if you do, that's fine. We could have a conversation. But here's why I don't believe that. I think that's a good way to check
Exactly.
it.
Yes, you're catching on really well and you understand what I'm saying because you're honest about who you are and you realize in certain circumstances you probably felt I think is imposter syndrome because you went through with some things that you probably was like, I probably don't really believe this about myself, or but you know what, it is what it is, and that's okay. That's who you are. If it is that you experience that, to move, what needs to be happening is you have to decide: do I want to have this experience again? Do I want to recreate this? And you
Mhm.
have that free will to decide if you want to continue being that type of person or not. Meaning that you want to continue going with the green. That's what you call going with the green,
Mhm.
right? And nothing is wrong with that, in my opinion. The only thing where that becomes dangerous is as a collective. If a lot of people go, a lot of people already do that. As you said, you've told me, you pointed that out in the beginning of the conversation. You said a lot of people will just not gonna be that way. I think it links to authenticity, and it doesn't mean that you're not authentic. It just means that at the end of the day, your authenticity resides in what other people would say, because that's where you will build your confidence and feel like belonging, which is good. The danger in that is if something is not real, or if we have, I would like to call this a false human. And
Mhm.
I know this is probably going down a conspiracy theory route, but if you have a false human who probably is compromised in terms of they're not in their authenticity, right? And you are going with the grain with what they believe, meaning that they think it's okay that children suffer or something like that. And you might think because everybody's saying that's fine and that's normal, that's okay too, right? That's where the danger comes in. That's where that's why it's important to have people who stand their ground and say, no, I don't believe this, but if they believe that, that's fine, but this is where I stand with this. And then it comes like it gives you choices to vote, because if everybody thought the same way, then we wouldn't be this unique species. It wouldn't have thought patterns and beliefs to hold on to. And
Mhm.
again, isn't that's what I said? Nothing is wrong with trying to hold on to something somebody else believes in. It just means that you resonate with that, right? But
Mhm.
the problem is if you're going agree with something just because the masses do, and then you feel in your heart that that's not right. You feel differently. You have to be authentic to self, because then that's where you stand as self to present a different option for the masses to decide if they want to believe you or believe them. And yes, at the end of the day, there's a lot of things in life we can't control. They will have somebody with 500 likes and somebody with 10. They will have somebody with 1 million followers and somebody with 2, right? And that's just how it is. And I think, I don't think those things should define you as a person. What should define you as a person? What should define us as a YouTube channel, or what should define just our existence is how we put out, like, we should be feeling content with just our experience, if that makes sense. We should just be like, you know what, I had a good experience today chatting with my friends. Or, I want, like, if you do feel that though, like Travis was touching on earlier, he have this urge or desire to have all these followers. What would that prove to you? Would it prove that it gives you acceptance into society? What is the feeling behind that achievement that you would get that you really, really, really want? And that's what you should really manifest, feeling that way already. Manifest feeling like you are accepted, manifest feeling like you are worthy, versus trying to seek it from external validation, right? And versus trying to look for it externally in material things. Try to see if you can dwell and experience it in the present moment without having that. And that's how things manifest. When you could get there in the present moment without needing external material things, eventually the 3D follows suit and lines up with that feeling, if that makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does. I definitely wholeheartedly agree with that. And I think that I guess I mean, different things for different people. I guess in Travis's instance, he's looking at it from almost like a monetary point of view in certain regards. I mean, of course, his message is important for him, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but also that, making a career out of it and being, able to evangelize and do what he's put here to do, but at the same time being able to focus solely on that. Because I mean, if it's not able to be something that he can survive off of, then it might be difficult for him just to focus on that. So that I'm wondering if that is part of it. But at the same time, I'm sorry, Travis, if I'm bringing up things that I shouldn't be bringing up, but yeah, I think that plays a slight role. And the most popular social media people are the ones who just kind of, I guess, go along with the grain and do exact, instead of holding steadfast to their beliefs, they kind of hold steadfast to whatever is popular at the time. And that may play a role in deciding what certain content creators want to focus on. But I do believe in everything you said, Anya. I do believe that, if you are, launching a career of something that is not popularity driven, but is something that, just depends on your skill set. Like, for example, if you are a carpenter, yes, you may get popular if you make able to like charm a lot of clients and bring them on, but you also become popular by being really good at it. So you can hold to whatever belief system you want to hold to, but being good in your skill set. But I do believe in this age of social media that being popular can be a challenge, because you want to be successful, you want to get your message out there, but you also need the engagement of others. So I do believe that finding that community could be difficult.
And that's something that you should pay attention to, what you just said, because that's very, very important. The fact that you made it hard. And you have to think in terms of the universe and how things would be, because remember, your word is very important, and your energy. These things, let's break it down. What you just
Mhm,
said is exactly what the universe is going to give you. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. It's not
mhm,
easy. It's not attainable. It's going to manifest those experiences so that you can experience that. I don't believe that. I believe it's actually probably really easy, but you just
mhm,
need to put the work in, meaning that you need to be dedicated. You need to put the content out there. You need to, be understanding of what content you want to put out there. Like, to me, the challenge is trying to decide what I want to do because I stuck in a place of I don't know what to do. And then that's why it'll be cool if we could interview different content creators as well and try to understand in terms of this topic, in terms of the huge desire of instant fame or social media success. Because that's what we're kind of talking about too in some way, form, or the other, right? We need to interview people who actually made it. What was their mindset like? Or you could listen to them. And a lot of times when I look at videos of people's channels who made it and they have a lot of followers and it's like a lot of the times a lot of their advice is just do it, put the content out there, stick true, have a consistent routine. Like and a lot they don't emphasis on thinking about like they never really tell you to stress about the nitty-gritty of if you're gonna get following or not. They never emphasize on that. They always just emphasize on consistency. So that's where I form my belief. I don't think it's hard. I just think it's a matter of time and putting in the effort and the energy, right? And even if while I do that, I'm not gonna get discouraged if I have a channel myself. I have my Knowledge and Vibe Tarot channel, and I'm stuck at 39 followers. My last video upload was 80 something days or 90 days ago. Again, my personal life circumstances, again, excuses, but my personal life circumstances not allowing me to post right now. That's a long story, and I'll get into that. But the point is that, and then that's an excuse. Like, you have so much people that would say, but I'm not discouraged. I'm not discouraged. I don't feel like 39 subscribers means that I'm a bad tarot reader. I don't feel like it means that I'm a bad content creator on YouTube. I just feel like it means that I have 39 people who are so interested in my work that this, first of all, they still subscribe to me. They didn't unsubscribe because I didn't post a video in over 90 days. And second of all, it's like, yeah, I'm excited to make more content just for them. And at the end of the day, I don't want to have a bunch of followers to define my work. I like what I do, and that's why I do it. So it's dependent on those a lot of different things. I think it's mainly where your mindset is in terms of what you desire. If you think it's difficult, the universe will give you that. If I think if I don't post, I don't get any more followers, the universe giving me that because that's what I believe. I believe because I'm not content creating every weekend or every day, I don't have a lot of followers. So my universe is giving me that reality, which is kind of technically true because then there's an algorithm. So, but then my beliefs is based off of logic or based off of something that is real because YouTube says if you don't post, they don't push your videos out for views. It is there. Right? And so it's like I think again these things are dogmas. I don't know if you guys know about that. I'll kind of explain what a dogma is in just a more few when after you guys talk and share your points, but basically this is like set beliefs of like things that are factual that are proven and like you kind of believe it because 2 + 2 = 4 and it is what it is, and you don't really necessarily want to believe something else because then you kind of feel like you would be deemed crazy, and yes, you might be looked at as crazy and weird because society would do that because everybody in society believes that too, you know um but you have to remember, and this is where I was talking about, but the conspiracy theory talk as a collective consciousness, we've been reared. If you want to say rare, like a herd of sheep, to have a belief system that works probably not in our best interest as a collective, or probably for some, it could be possible that it could be for other things, but our energy and all of our beliefs and the way our society is set up, if you look at the grander scheme of things, besides the nitty-gritty of each soul that suffers in its own way, we read for suffering, we read for lack, we read for believing that we have to have a hard life. And that's something to pay attention to, just FYI. So what do you think gonna manifest?
I definitely do believe that a while back, like a long time ago, we were kind of indoctrinated into a certain thinking, and it was done for whatever reasons the powers that be at that time thought were best for society. I do agree that, like it was an indoctrination and we have grown up into that belief system. And a lot of people have invested a lot of time to continue that thought pattern, that thought system. And a lot of smart people, but manipulative people in that regard. Um, for example, the way the school system runs is not really catered for certain aspects of everyday life, yet still we continue it and we refuse to adapt in certain regards. And we can give different excuses for why, but at the same time, it doesn't help that we continue to send certain people with different ways of thinking to school, and they are believed to be lesser than other people just because they think differently. And then the excuse that certain people give is, well, not everybody is meant to be a leader or a doctor or a lawyer or engineer or accountant. We need people of all different skill sets and skill patterns to do other jobs. I don't believe that that is what life is supposed to be about, but it is what it is. There's nothing that can be done right now about it, but that doesn't mean that we should be locked into that thought pattern. And it is something, as you said, that should be paid attention to and something that we should continuously try to improve upon. So I do believe that. Um, and yeah, I do believe in the whole in the dogma system that you're talking about, that we believe certain things. Like I was reading recently that human beings are a lot stronger than we are thought to be. We can do amazing feats. It's just that because in our minds we have that belief system that we can't do something or we're limited by something is the reason why we can't do it. Like the reason why women could lift vehicles to save their children is that in that moment they forget that that is something that they should normally not be able to do, and they forget that they do lift the car, save their child, and then it's thought to be some unbelievable feat, but who knows, maybe they can do that in a normal everyday basis if they just believed that they could in every day and just put that belief that they can't aside. So I don't know if that's a conspiracy theory or not, but it is
No,
something that I do think we need to watch.
there's a really, really good example. And I really hate the whole idea of conspiracy theory because I feel like it places other people's thoughts and a lot of the truths, it places it in a basket or category. And that means that same thing, pushing for an agenda for a specific set of beliefs to be real. And to me, it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be like you class me as a specific person or terrorist, if you want to say that, because I believe something something else. It's ridiculous. It's basically telling me that life is black and white and it's not gray and it's not blue, green, yellow, and all other colors exist. It's basically that. And I just think it's just so bad because it goes along with everything. Look at what's going on in the world as a whole right now, the wars and the whole small groups and minority groups being ignored, and like it's a lot of things going on. And in order for us to evolve as a people, as a collective, as a society, we need to understand that there's no set one way of things, thinking, beliefs, none. But there's probably some right ways, and we need to just figure out what works for everybody. And that's that.
Yeah, I definitely do think that, and I think that it just takes a kind of a mindset shift. Like what is the difference between, like, if somebody was to tell me, Jared, you can feel as relaxed as you do when you meditate or when you hear certain music. You can feel that at every moment of the day. It's just the reason why you don't is because you're conditioned not to. If you want to feel as relaxed as you can, it's just as simple and easy as just feeling that. You can feel the same way you do taking a deep breath with taking a shallow breath. It's just that because you believe you feel more relaxed when you take a deep breath, you will feel more relaxed.
You
But
also don't allow yourself, though. You tell yourself it's not allowed or it's not. So you put limits. I think you put limits on it. And
yeah,
because for me, what you just said, I do that. I live that. I lived my life with peace. And it's
Yeah.
hard. It's not easy. It's hard. It's hard only because a lot of things come up to challenge that for me. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, happiness is a log
Like,
that's like just stays there between it all. And remember, just think of the tree and the roots and the flood, and you don't want to be shaken, you don't want to be moved. And the more you dig your roots deeper and stronger and get bigger as a tree, the less inclined that you have and external factors control where your brain goes, if that makes sense. And yes, if you want peace every moment, even at work, if you want to stay in the now while Sally and John talking about their BS, you could do it. You just have to remember to do it.
yeah, I remember when I used to dread Monday morning because of work and whatever. And it was the start of the work week. And then I was in the office one day and somebody told me to rejoice at the start of the work week and be happy that, of all the good things we've been given, we've seen another week. Think of all the good that is going to come up this week and all of that. And then because of that small mindset shift, I started to look at Monday more positively. And it's something simple like that, every day try to think of the positive instead of regretting or not looking forward to something. Just try to have a more positive mindset on it. And you'll be amazed at the leaps and the bounds that you as a person make. You actually start looking forward to doing certain tasks. Like I I really do hate some menial tasks sometimes, like washing a long set of wares or like well, I don't know why I said long wares, but you know what I mean, like a large group of wares. And then, because I started whilst doing Wiz, doing other activities, like my hands are occupied with the Wiz, but my brain is doing other things and going other places. Like sometimes I relax, so I spend that time meditating on my day or reflecting, or even just being more mindful of, as you said, of sensory feelings with your hands and all of that. And it is now, I've even talked to some people and they said, yeah, they enjoy doing wares now because it helps them like relax almost. Like even like cleaning. Like I grew up
Yeah,
cleaning.
definitely.
Yeah, I grew up cleaning the house for Christmas and different occasions. So for me now, whenever I'm stressed with work and I go and clean, it like because I could be like my brain is thinking and it's doing other things while I'm cleaning. Like I actually enjoy cleaning. I use that time to meditate now. And it is my way of de-stressing. But so yeah, I do definitely believe it's all about the mindset. But Travis, you've been quiet for a while. What are your thoughts on all that we've been talking about?
Hey, well, I really loved hearing you guys share your perspectives about so much, and yeah, I agree so much. There's so much more things we could do to make the journey more enjoyable, and to not let ourselves be get caught up in the struggle and the ways we really put down ourselves. Yeah, I so that was my thoughts. Yeah. I really just enjoy holding this space for you guys, and yeah.
And I know that you were originally the one that was saying about, increasing your ability to just enjoy life instead of like holding back because of situations or whatever. What are your thoughts like besides, like our feedback, like what are your thoughts on what we said? Do you think that it applies to certain circumstances that you may be going through or experiencing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, all of it really does apply. Um, so much of what you guys said, like, learning to, just kind of let go and, just picking up on the lessons that come from it. And, yeah, yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of blissed out guy, so I'm just listening, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciated what Enya said. I think Enya really did help me heal something today in more focusing on the now. Like that was really, really powerful and helpful, Enya. Like that was powerful to
It's
me.
for lots of different things, and that's why, as I said, that's what my goal is. I want to be more because I realize my life with every, because you guys know my journey, and y'all knew from comparing myself from where I was happier to now, because I believe I was happier before in the past, right? And that comparison for me meant that what he was doing different. Like, what happened? Like, how come it was just challenge after challenge, or failure after failure, or heartbreak after heartbreak? Like what really happening? What are you manifesting? And I just catch myself, and I was like, what time you on, you? Like, what really going on? Where your mind is most of the time. And I was like, well, I used to be more in the present, right? And at the time when I was happy and more happy things happened to me is because I was enjoying my life. So I was more in the moment of my life. And now I'm not really, because I'm going through a lot of pain and stuff, right? You all know that.
Mhm.
So what's the difference? So to me, the difference is acting as if I'm lacking a lot of the things. So the universe spitting it out. Oh God, it's showing up. It's showing up and delivering all the manifestations. It's spitting everything out for me. But it's not spitting out the good stuff, because the vibration that I'm on is, oh, I hate men and I hate this and single woman this and it's a lot of different things, It's like, so okay, let me spit this out for her, because this is what the vibration that she's on. So that's my synopsis on how I realize why I want to manifest more being in the present moment and make that possible for me, however that looks like, because I know once you're there, that's when the juicy stuff, that's when the good things will start happen, you know?
I love how you say,
But
what time you on, girl?
yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I like that too. So, in terms of, so Travis had the question about increasing his capacity for love, right? How do you increase that capacity and ability to receive love? Because we've been focusing a lot on inward stuff, our perception of ourselves, our perception of reality, our perception of the now and what we're feeling and checking in on that. But we're going to start to talk a little bit more externally now, just a little bit, because it's still internal, but it's also external now. Like the ability to receive love and feel that love and like receive it from an external source, because we believe that creator is internal, yes, but we also believe that he's external to us, watching over us and providing life and love and light. um so how do we increase that capacity for love? But Enya, before you chime in, because I know you have the answer for this, Travis, I want to hear, let's just say somebody came to you and they said, look, Travis, I want to increase my capacity and ability to receive creators' love and light. Right now, I feel like I'm not receiving it in the way or the form that I should be. What is your advice for that? What would you tell them?
All right. Well, is it okay if I ask, like for your example, Jared, if you can bring up your situation, what you wanted to work on? Because I just found that so unique, and I found it like when we were talking before we started about how good it would be to feel like wherever we go, we're accepted and we're not stigmatized by our skin color, ethnicity, and stuff like that. That's the direct question of that, of asking how can we allow this world to give us love without looking at our color, the color of our skin and hair. That's the question. So I want to know if first you could help me to break down that more and share your experience and where that came from, and we could navigate that.
Okay. I mean, I will touch on it, and then I'm gonna use Enya's example to kind of explain why I feel like this would be helpful. Um, so
Um,
yeah.
just now, Jared, before you touch on it, I have a joke with that, Travis. You know what will happen? God will just change the world, and then a certain race couple, so a Caucasian couple, will make a dark skinned baby, and a dark
Mm.
skinned couple will make a Caucasian baby, and a Spanish couple will make a Chinese baby, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your race. It will just spit out and generate random babies, and that will eliminate the whole problem. That's just a joke, huh? It's just
That's so wild.
Um, okay. So what I felt before was, and I feel like this is something that was so intrinsic to feelings like when I'm feeling low. But moving away from home, where I feel like I looked like everybody else and I felt a sense of community. I never felt like an outsider while I was back home in Trinidad. But moving away from that and moving to a place where I am now in the minority, very often, and I accept that this is internal and it is not at all external, but I feel at times moving through life like an outsider. And because of that, I feel like because I look different and because I act different, I talk different, my experience and cultural backgrounds is different. Um, Even the way I was taught and learned was different. Um, I feel somewhat that people are judging me for the way I look, the way I act, the way I talk. And it it could be tricky feeling at home in a place where you look, act, talk, and are different because it just feels like if when you go out, every time you step outside of your house, that everybody is judging you, thinking that why is he here? He shouldn't be here. People like who look and act and talk like us should be here. He's an outsider and XYZ. And I accept that this could be completely internal. Like that is just my thoughts and fears and fear of rejection talking. And that nobody is judging me like this. Nobody's even thinking like that. They are in their own heads having their own thoughts. And this is just my own vision of inferiority or whatever else it may be play at play here, playing up. But it's something that I still struggle with because I feel like, racism and racial injustice is something that is so prevalent nowadays. You hear it wherever you go. And like it's just so easy to be lost along that trend of thought that it's something, as I said before, I never felt before. But because of how racially charged the world is now, like going out, I always feel like that because I'm the minority, as I said. And it's just the ability to ignore that, just accept who you are and in the space that you are, and just the ability to feel like you are home wherever you are is something that I think is really powerful and to be powerful for a lot of people to feel like no matter where they go, they are proud to be who they are and I can celebrate their differences. That's the kind of space that I want to create, not just for myself, but for everybody. That everybody can feel accepted for who they are wherever they are. So this is something that I want to work on and manifest the ability to feel at home wherever you are and feel accepted for your difference. And yeah, but I do think that in Enya's talk just now, which is why it inspired me so much, that you can feel like that because when you accept the now and you put aside the past, the injustices done unto others or yourself in the past, the injustice that may be done unto you in the future, and the way you may be feeling in the future. And you just accept how you're feeling now, checking in with yourself, being aware of, how you're feeling, what you're doing, whatever. Like I feel like, and putting aside in the feeling of lack and just feeling at home at present with this present moment with the gift of love and light that we were given. I kind of feel like meditating on that is such a healing experience. And if you can do that in those moments, you really forget about skin. You really forget about difference. And you just celebrate life and love. So if you can do that in those moments, whenever you're feeling inferior, just don't focus on what is different. Focus on what is the same. Everybody is here to live this human experience. Everybody's here. Is here to experience love. Everybody's here to experience the gift of life. Everybody's here to experience creators acceptance and want us for us to, live the best life we can possibly live. Once you focus on that instead of lack and instead of difference, I really, really, really feel like that will make a deep and immediate change in your perspective. It definitely will mine. And that's when Enya was talking, like that's what I was experiencing, that's what I was thinking, that's what I was feeling. Like, don't celebrate lack, don't celebrate difference. Just try to connect on what is the same. I don't know if Enya, if that was part of the message or if I'm getting it wrong or whatever. Maybe you could chip in on that. But that's what I
No, you're
felt.
not getting it wrong at all. It's just that it's more along the lines of be more mindful that a lot of beliefs and thoughts are the norm. Our norm as we wake up and we see the sky is blue and white or gray. In your case, Jared, it might be a little bit overcast in London. But as we wake up and we see things as they are, right? Wherever we are, which parts of the world, sometimes things could just become norm. And it could become the norm that I have to suffer or I have to struggle or I have to be luck. I have to I'm not able to, like sometimes it could become drill into you that you're not, in Travis's case, for example, you do have the capacity to probably have love when in truth he's the biggest, hugest vessel of love that he is. And he just need to see it. You understand? Like we just need to decide our perspective of what we believe or the restraints we put over ourselves. We have to be careful. That's the lesson. It's about what are you allowing? Because at the end of the day, when you step back and observe yourself as co-creator, that's a big role. That means whatever you say goes. And if you say you don't have enough capacity to love, you don't. And if you say that you don't know, you know, what to do or whatever, you don't. Like it's just it governs it, and that's where I am. Like I sit back, I'm like, look, I went through so much pain. And I went through pain because I was on autopilot in terms of I was just letting life happen to me. I wasn't letting life happen for me in terms of asserting what my intentions are. And I wasn't trying to manifest anything. And quite frankly, I'm still scared. The weird thing is, I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of what will happen if I manifest what I really, really want. Then what? Then what? I'll be scared of that. I'm afraid of that. And because I'm afraid of that, I just allow myself to manifest my life of what I'm going through right now. And, even though it sucks here and there, it's like, wow, it's like you would really stoop that low just to be in a safe space of not being, remaining under the radar or whatever, instead of trying to manifest to become who your true potential is, the fear of success. And yeah, it's true. So that's where I'm suffering from. But in terms of that, you just have to pay attention, right? It's not about the actual thing of it. Just pay attention of what you're letting control or rule or govern your life. And in terms of thoughts and words and beliefs. So yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, and I do believe that if you meditate on that, you just change your perspective and just, it may even be as something, along the lines of, do you accept yourself? Do you accept do you accept where you are and your circumstances now? And do you accept everything about you? Is that what you are pushing onto others? Is that what you're projecting? What feelings are you projecting? Really focus on your feeling in that moment. Because for others, they may just see you as a human being. But what do you see yourself as? Do you only see yourself as a color? Do you only see yourself as an outsider? Or do you see yourself as part of the tapestry of the universe? As co creator, as you would say. Because your reality is is life, is existence, is what is around, and it's a powerful thing to be in charge of your own thoughts and in charge of your own abilities to change. So many of us think that we are incapable of changing things, but we are. We just have to be able to like know and accept that we can and act accordingly. And yeah, I just think that is a powerful thing. It really, really is. Like, but you have to accept what is. And I think that that's a scary thing for a lot of people. It's a scary thing, the power that comes with accepting, and the fact that, once you truly open your eyes to reality and what exists and who you are in reality, the fact that it's almost like if, how to put this, when you accept how reality is and the fact that you can change your perception, it's like almost unknown because we were indoctrinated once again into a feeling of suffering and lack. So it's going to change your perception of how things are, and it's scary. It's a scary, scary thing. So, but once again, don't think of it as scary because I know, and you're probably thinking that it's going to be scary if you think of it as scary, but don't. Just think of it as life, as reality.
As a perspective switch. Because it
Yeah,
probably is scary, yeah? It probably is. I'm not saying to deny the truth. I'm saying to acknowledge the truth, but understand that there's a different way of looking at it.
yeah,
You know? And that's the powerful thing there too.
yeah. So Travis, I explained about a little bit. What are you thinking, Travis? I think that you're hiding your thoughts here. You're kind of reflecting onto Enya and me. But what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I agree, and honestly, I'm so glad to hear about that we were able to like talk about these things. I honestly wish this kind of conversations were more present in the mainstream. People just getting to speak about how we're able to navigate our journeys into just like we're not asking for much, we're just asking to be loved, right? To share and to share love in return, and we're really not asking for much. It's just we've been, as you guys were saying, like so conditioned as a society to not receive it and to manifest ways and people and situations to not give it to us, and we've come into the awareness that we get to release that and decide that it gets to be easier to to just uh love ourselves more, the more we're able to practice the consistency of allowing ourselves to receive and deciding and allowing ourselves to be worthy and allowing ourselves to thrive no matter what, and that consistency really creates the belief and allows the universe to actually meet us in this frequency and bring us more and more love and say, hey, you want love, here's more love, and we end up becoming so full of it, right? And instead of being filled and carrying about and operating with the lack and the emptiness, we just get so filled that we just want to give and share this more and more and expand this, and we connect more with more loving people like you all. Like while you all were speaking, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we have this live podcast where, and I'm so excited to share this already, and we get to share these things, and it just like such a dream come true already, this podcast alone, and this a privilege. It seems like a privilege, but it really should be our natural birthright to be able to be in this awareness and this space, and this company, and that that is where we're going as a collective, and we are the lucky ones getting to participate in that first, and getting to bask in it, and go deeper and deeper into it, and unraveling it, our journeys with it, and sharing that with others, hence this platform. So yeah, it's just this wonderful journey, and yeah, that we get to experience that together, and we want to also hear your guys' perspectives in terms of what you think, what are your beliefs, what comes up for you when you hear about your journey into receiving more love and allowing yourself to be more worthy. And everyone's journey is so unique in that, and it's so multifaceted, and it's just so many areas of our lives we're looking to receive this loving. And we just it's the different parts of us, our different personalities as well, who wants love in different ways. We want love in entertainment, we want love in relationships, we want love in education, in the workspace, in a human and a soul. And we want love in just being present on this planet. So it's just the way we allow all of us, every single part, to receive more and actually hold on to it more, and allow ourselves to expand and share it back to the earth the exact same way that the planet does it. Like Mother Gaia, she doesn't care about what's going on. She just focuses on giving and sharing love. She actually regulates herself, and she holds the frequency of giving and sharing love, because she knows this love will come back. Hence, we are all here on this planet evolving and consciously grounding more heavenly love, right, from the divine into her. So she knows that by her giving this out into all the billions of us species, all the different variety of species, that we get to ground this love back in return and create this vortex of love. And this is what kind of elevates the planet into a higher frequency. So it's just a wonderful time to be alive.
It really is. It really, really is. And you know,
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I think, yeah, we just need to really reflect on the ability of love. And not only, Travis, I think it's really easy for you to love other people and to accept and celebrate other people. But I think that having that ability to love other people, you need to extend that to yourself as well. Like, why is it so easy for you to extend your love to other people, but and I don't mean to single you out here, because I feel like to some extent we all do it, but it's so difficult for you at times to love yourself. You know, the late great Robin Williams. It's always he has a lot of quotes that came out, after his death. I mean, he was saying it all the time, but it's just people really focus on it after his death. That he used to say things along the lines of, you know, the reason why comedians make people laugh and celebrate the whole feeling and expression of comedy is that they want to make other people laugh because they themselves feel so unloved and so uh, unhappy that they just want to see other people smile and see other people laugh and enjoy life and enjoy um, what this gift is that they have. And that's such a sad thing. It's such a sad thing that they enjoy making people laugh because they themselves are unhappy. So it could be applied to those who love. Why is it that they can love, but they think they're not worthy of love? They can celebrate what love is, but don't have any capacity for it for themselves. And I think that that is something that needs to be talked about more, as you said, in the media. Like, Mother Gaia loves all of us. She doesn't care about the inadequacies and all that, because she just focuses on the love. So maybe we should start to do that ourselves, focus on the love and the healing power of love. How we can heal ourselves and heal others with through love. And yeah, I feel like, it's the in thing at times, quote unquote in, to say um we don't care, be apathetic towards certain beliefs. Love is a cheesy thing or whatever. But we forget that it's not cheesy, it's powerful. It takes a strong person, man, woman, child, any person, to be loving and to love others even when they are treating us like garbage. Like, it's not weak at all to love a person because we can see beyond just the surface that they are treating us whatever because they themselves feel unloved or they feel, a certain amount of anger. It's powerful. And yeah, what do you want to say? I feel like you want to say something.
Yeah, I was agreeing with what you were saying about that. Both of you guys said very powerful things, like Travis, and you just expanded on his point. And I don't really have much to say, really, except that we just I want us to hold space, and we're gonna do a meditation. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think we need to lead a meditation on loving and embody the spirit of love. So, yeah.
Love, and then like, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And acceptance and worthiness, but mainly love. I feel like it's all tied in, Like y'all could chip in if you think I'm wrong, but I think it's tied in. I think love is the overall feeling that will help with the acceptance and the worthiness and the release of anything. Because I feel like once you bring in love, it kind of displaces all the negativity. But let me know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Everything feels so tight, and to be honest, it just, yeah, it really is. Yeah.
I would think that love is yes, but you have to also remember to kind of marry the two of love and being in the present moment. Because when those two get married, it's a really beautiful thing. Because you're able to carry on the power of love throughout your day and for a long time. And then the
Mm,
type of things that manifest in your life is a big deal too.
mm, agree. Okay, so does anybody else want to say anything before we go into the meditation?
Well,
No.
I'll sorry guys. I'll just touch back on the what you had said. Okay, in regards to like the comedy and stuff. I know it's like a separate topic, like in terms of like I was while you were saying, I was thinking like, okay, funny enough, your boy is a good comedian. Like one of my social party tricks is stand-up comedy, right? I love comedy so much, and I as a kid I would always like throw myself down and make people laugh just so that they would not feel the same way I felt, right? So and but I still genuinely love comedy, and the reasons behind it were all so true. Um, but the bigger thing is that it's how like the heart-centered ones, the ones who are most full of love and able to give and share that, like where not the ones who not able to really give it to ourselves the most and to recognize our and value and appreciate ourselves the most. And that's the lesson. That's a beautiful lesson. We kind of learn to give ourselves the love, the mega amount of love we want to give to others. And I really think it applies to everyone. So, yeah, it's just a beautiful lesson of learning to give to ourselves all the attention, the time, resources, the nourishment, the nutrients, the time, the space, the energy, and all of that, which would give away. So, because we really are at a point where all of us and our people we need to rise up and put our crowns back on and claim the sovereignty, and that's the truest way to do it. So I'm so happy that yeah we get to kind of reach this pinnacle in our human consciousness and evolution where we get to navigate that and remember who we are and ground so much, which is how come this topic was tied into so many different things, because we're grounding everything, all of us, back into our bodies and into the earth. So it just feels so holistic.
Yes.
I I wholeheartedly agree, Travis. I think that, as you said, everything is tied in, and it just says so much about the fact that you said, you wanted to make other people laugh because, the feeling of laughter and creating that is something that is tied into your love and wanting people to have a good time and enjoy their time here. And yeah, I think the ability to, and it just explains so much why you like being a healer so much, because everything is tied in. But I think that the challenging part is, you know, putting that same amount of love and emotion and care for others into yourself. And I think that that is something that is, not to call anybody out, but I think that that's something that a lot of people are struggling with right now. The ability to love themselves. So many people think that the only way they can feel better about themselves is by putting other people down, but that's not true. We can love ourselves and celebrate ourselves by just lifting ourselves up. We don't need to put anybody else down. We don't need to isolate anybody. We all just need to accept and love who we are for who we are.
I agree.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.